And now, gimmick infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blank. And Tyler, this one went a little better than last week's. How you doing?
That it did. We are Wi-Fi outage free at the moment, Brad. I think this will continue for the full episode. I'm confident, so I'm just gonna put it out there. Yes, much smoother than our last recording. We thank you all so much for being here, Brad. I'm well. I want to start out with a big shout out to our veterans near and far. We are releasing this episode on Veterans Day. We thank you and your families for your service. Brad and I encourage you to support organizations dedicated to uplifting vets. For example, we encourage you to visit Esperanza in Escalante, a Tucson-based organization which provides transitional housing for our homeless veterans. You can check them out on Instagram at EEE Veterans, and on the web at azgives.org/EEE Veterans. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Great shout out for that. And shout out to the 219 Media Group members doing good work over there on the board, and Jabari Davis and my wife, Jessica Winchester. Very good stuff that they're doing. I also wore, I'm planning on wearing again tomorrow, my Till Valhalla project t-shirt, which the proceeds go to fund mental health services for veterans, specifically with PTSD and recovery. So lots of really good organizations out there. Shout out to all the vets and my wife, and my wife, Jesus. Divorce.
And your wife.
Better not be any vets in my wife. The vets in my life is what I tried to say there.
Yeah, just replace that W with an L, and you got
I'm gonna keep it in there and hope the marriage holds out. I was gonna say shout out to my dad, a veteran, and now in my biological brother John. Shout out my biological father Stephen. Shout out to him too. Lots of veterans in my life. A lot of former students, current students who are planning on going into the military or who have served. We have a lot of people to be thankful for protecting our freedoms, and there's a lot of good work to be done out there to help make sure that they are safe and healthy after serving. But none of them involve my wife, Tyler. What a week! Things happened this week. Lots of things happened this week, and I'm talking mostly about the college football playoff selection committee, of course. Now, I made a comment on my first comment on Facebook after the other thing that happened this week, the American presidential election. And it was that I think America made a terrible decision this week in allowing Georgia 7-1 to be ranked higher than a undefeated Miami team. But Georgia Tech beat Miami yesterday, and I was in error. So I'm sorry, America. I was wrong about the selection committee. I am exhausted, but so happy to see your face. Glad we're doing this. Thankful for the people that didn't shut off this episode yet, as I make uncomfortable statements about my family. How are you doing up in the valley?
Yeah, things are good. I'm so happy to see you. Things are good, man. Real good. We got the holidays rolling in. We also have WWE Raw coming to Glendale, Arizona 2 weeks from today. I know it is an incredibly busy time for you. I know the semester is still just wild here, but things are good. I feel good. I know this week was very heavy for some reasons, but some more obvious than others, but I'm grateful that
weather change. Yeah.
Weather changes are, This is true. This is very true. I'm grateful to have you and to have our platform and to really have a community. I find that when things can feel so large and just so impossible to solve, I really lean into, well, what can I control in my life? I can control reaching out to people I love to let them know I care about them. I can control spending time doing things I enjoy that brings me solace, that bring me peace. And this is a part of that, right? What we've created here at GI is a part of that, with 19 Media, with people I've met through going to school, through being a teacher. Like, that's what I'm just really leaning into these days, Brad. So I have no complaints, my friend. I am doing well today. I'm grateful. And I know we have a really fun episode to get into. I got questions for you. We're going to talk WWE, AEW, Golden Batch. We have a special Trap Tales, which you and I both have updates for. So I love that we get to do this, and especially given weeks like the one we're coming off of, this brings me even more happiness than usual.
You know, I wanted to transition there into Trap Tales with well, speaking of things that we can control our ability to go to the gym, usually pending disaster or injury or illness. But we can't always control the things that happen there. So let's hit the music. It's time for a new edition of Trap Tales. Tyler, why don't you lead us off this week? I'll save mine. I have a feeling that mine will be less positive, we'll call it, than what yours will be, and even yours I doubt will be all that positive. Trap Tales usually doesn't go like, wow, look at this really great thing I saw or smelled at the gym this week.
Never. Now that I think about it, Trap Tales really inherently, it's about
it's not about
it is
growth.
about the negative. It is about the negative.
The only growth happening is bacterial. Yeah.
I have 2 notes from Trap Tales. Number 1, the basketball training continues. I think I've shared this with you. The local basketball trainer who brings kids to our gym. It's specifically a Monday, Wednesday, Friday gimmick now. Specifically those mornings from 5 a.m. to, I don't know when they finish. I'm gone by then. But it's continuing. If anything, the kids are growing. There was a group of about 10 last week. And my takeaway, or what I have to report back to you, Brad, is last week, there's music playing. That's no surprise. I've shared this on our recordings before. This is new and this is noteworthy because a Drake playlist made it to the gym last week. And
that explains it.
I'm quite sure this is the first time I've heard Drake played repeatedly in a public space since the Kendrick beef. So we put out a poll online. Is it too soon to play Drake in public? And it's a deadlock right now, according to our voters. 50% yes, 50% no. Granted, we only had 2 votes. Last I checked, at least. But I voted yes, it is too soon. But Drake...
I also voted yes. It is now 67% to 33%.
Okay, this is the update I was hoping for.
Important.
Drake was played in a public space. I was not ready for that. But the kids there are very nice, and I spoke with the coach, and he... is apparently ready for the basketball season. So Drake is slowly making his way back into the public. Second note, less controversial, maybe as controversial. I don't know. I'm going to tell you. There was a dude this week at my local Esporta Fitness, although now it's being rebranded LA Fitness. More on that later. He wore a t-shirt, a dark gray t-shirt, Brad, that had an enlarged bullet, a bullet from a gun. I don't know what other bullets there would be. An enlarged bullet on the chest. Yeah. With the American flag. So it was a bullet, but it was in the style of the American flag.
That tracks.
With the words on the front, just the tip, I promise. And so, do you remember the character Stefan from SNL who used to, like, when I saw it, as I'm doing now on YouTube for us, I just went, oh man. To me, and then I'll pass the baton to you. I thought there was an inherent understanding at the gym that you're not necessarily coming down dressed to the nines, that people don't do that at the gym, but you come with a general awareness of you're in a public space. I'm not saying you're trying to impress people, but you just want to give off your best self to the public. And for that shirt to be worn, I thought, oh man, this guy can't be single. Like, he has to be very happy outside of here. I'm assuming he has a partner, because I don't know why you would wear that and expect to possibly make friends at the gym or just not get side looks. It was a choice. I have questions about this dude. I don't know him at all. I've never spoken with him, but that was the biggest fashion faux pas from the week. So Drake is back. This dude wore a questionable shirt, and I'm just trying to mind my business and get my cardio in. It is your turn, my friend.
Speaking of faux pas, putting your weights back. There's been a serial, I guess, weight leaner. They're the worst. These are the people that put the carts in the wrong way in the cart corrals at grocery stores. Like you're better off letting it float around and nail all the cars in the parking lot than to put it in backwards so we can't use it. This guy, I've been wondering for a long time, who's been taking the 45s off of their weights and then leaning them against the 45s instead of picking it up 3 inches to put onto the little pole that holds them onto the weight rack. Just leaning them against it, walking away. I don't understand this person. Turns out it's this older guy that always comes in. He's got 650 bags of equipment. He always is wearing these wrist things, these leg things, and then he'll go and use like the Smith machine and lift way too much weight on it, benching it, but like machine assisted. Like if you can't lift a little bit without the machine, you should not be doing this constantly. And then I watched him take the weight off and lean it. I found the serial leaner. Now, Tyler, my debate is no longer, you know, I think it's this person. I'm pretty sure it's that guy. I know now. And now it's, do I say something to this big MF who also never sprays down the machine afterward? Oh yeah, that's right. Just ass crack on the bench, sweat city. I'm gonna walk away, lean the weights, don't spray it off. Just vile human being. Do I say something, or do I just glower, if you will?
Is this a rhetorical question, or would you?
No, I would like an answer because I don't know what to do.
What are his measurements? You said is he a giant?
Let me make it easy for you. I'm very small. Doesn't matter. So like he's huge. He's easily twice my size, but he's also probably pushing 70.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
He's
okay.
One good hit from the side from going down. Like okay. those knees aren't taking a side blow.
Yeah, I think inevitably this goes to, okay, if this led to fisticuffs, how would this turn out for you? You do have age.
If he gets a hold of me, it's over. If he misses once, I got him for sure. I can beat him with the weight he didn't re-rack.
That's too risky. That's too risky for me.
Very good. Okay. I'm gonna go to passive aggressive.
I'm living with it, and then maybe we develop a friendship, and then I can give him some tips on how to be a more responsible gym goer. But I'm probably taking the friendship route on this one.
I debated and loudly going, well, I'm done now. I guess I'll re-rack my weights, and like just say it while looking at him and putting it on the rack. I thought that would be then I thought, no, I better not do that. I could see everybody in that room, including the people that were much bigger than I am, which isn't saying much. It was basically everybody in there looking at him the same way, and everybody else not saying anything, probably out of respect for this guy's age. But there comes a point where, like, I don't care how old you are, do the right thing.
Do the right thing. And there's usually signage up.
Yeah.
Don't drop your weights, re-rack your weights. Maybe the first step is 24-hour fitness. Step your signage game up, and then this guy will fall in line.
Yeah, the last time they had signage up about re-racking weights was incredibly sexist. It was if you need help re-racking the weights, please ask one of the girls in the office to help you. And I was like, oh, I've seen the girls in the office. They could absolutely help me. They're yoked.
Yeah.
So is this a dig? I think you're going like, oh, you bunch of girls, you bunch of weak girls, not realizing, oh, you got girls that go to this gym. Probably none in your life though. That tracks. Anyway,
we gotta talk about WWE. I have questions leaving Trap Tales, as I usually do.
Me too.
But I actually have prepared a really great question for you regarding WWE this week, Brad. Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be.
Let's recap. Damian Priest became #1 contender. Zarya pinned Roxanne Perez. And we finally have a mid-card women's title. Yes. Very exciting times. However, I want to ask you about the official reformation of the OG Bloodline with the honorary Uce, Sami Zayn. All 4 of these guys, Sami, Jay, Jimmy, and Roman, hit all the right notes on SmackDown with their performances. 2-part question. Given your theater background, Mr. Winchester, who has the most acting chops out of this bunch? And how certain are you that they're leaving Survivor Series victorious?
That's a good question. I think acting chops wise, it's in the OG bloodline. That's tough. It's between Roman and Sami. And I think I'm gonna go Sami on this one, even though I think Roman's got more. Man, I don't know.
They bring different strengths to the table. No,
I was gonna say Roman has a little bit more range, but Sami understands the assignment every single time. Because Roman can really turn on like the I'm feeling a certain way, I'm angry, I'm scared, I'm sad, and really highlight all of those. I don't think Sami's as strong with that, but his line delivery is better than anybody else's in that entire group. Because everybody else has like a certain way to do it. Sami understands the role and understands the commitment to the lines and is so believable when he says them, where the other people in the bloodline have like their catchphrases to hit, right? Like there's no Sami Zayn catchphrase. It's I'm Sami Zayn here. So it's a little bit more authentic. But when I've seen the emotional parts in the ring, it's been Roman more than Sami. But I think Sami's words do a better job of drawing emotion out from the audience than the actual acting. But acting chops wise, solely, I'm going to give it to Roman. Acting that connects with the audience, it's Sami.
Wow. When I see these guys, I wonder.
Shout out to Jay, though.
Shout out to Jay as well. Yeah, for sure. I even like what Jimmy brings too.
When
you're working with kids in the theater, how much of an emphasis do you place on the nonverbal communication? Because that's what's really stood out to me about Roman and how he's upped his game over the years is that nonverbal communication, just his facial expressions. Like any good performer, I suppose, it can give so much without you uttering a single word. Do you all go over that often in theater at the high school?
Yes. And a lot of the times it's not. So theater's a little bit different. It's when you're 40 yards away and, well, let's just use wrestling. You go to a wrestling show. Anybody watching a wrestling show that's out in the audience, if you want to see the expressions on their faces, you're either close or where do you look?
On the big screen.
Only place you can. There's no big screen in a theater. So your expressions have to be large. And if you're not using your physicality, your body, it's hard to convey some of that stuff. Otherwise, they're basically relying solely on audio. And with wrestling, you can hone in on those little expressions and the subtle, like the Roman face twitch stuff. And, the slow transition from laughing to angry or disappointed or surprised, those things that Roman does so well with his face, which works perfectly on television, but would be terrible in an audience for a theater unless he really exaggerated them. So yes, the thing with I'm looking right now at the Bloodline 2.0, a picture of them with Tama Tonga and Tongaloa both wearing their kind of collared shirt, their suit, and they're standing next to Solo with their arms in front of them, kind of like holding their wrists. That's one of the no-nos you do in a theater. You almost never do that. Where Jacob Fatu's got his hands pressed out in front of him. That's actually fine because it's part of that character. And Solo's talking with his hands. He's got the hand on the mic and he's expressing himself with his hands. So what I end up doing in the theater more often than not is yelling at people to stop squatting. People squat on the stage. You cannot squat on a stage. Nobody wants to see the outline of your junk or your butt cheeks. We are sitting below you. And if you squat, we're getting a direct line of just, it's bad. And if that stage is backlit and you're not getting a lot of light, it's just a silhouette of your junk dangling down for all to see, and it's terrible. So I always have to tell kids, if you're going to do that, go on one knee, because it's either butt cheek extravaganza or it's a baby bird being smuggled, and there's no like in between on that. So yes, there's always conversations about your physicality in there, but a lot of the times it's because it looks bad, not because it looks right. But final thing I'll say here, because I know I'm going long-winded. We did Once Upon a Mattress last year, and one of the characters is the king, who at the beginning of the show has been cursed with silence. He can't speak the entire show. So the entire character is a physical part. There is no speaking, singing, anything. It's just physicality and kind of conveying messages with gestures and movement and facial expressions. And that's all you have. So it sort of depends. But yeah, we spend a lot of time talking about that stuff. Me less so on the tech director side. I usually give feedback after the show is almost done and we're ready to go. Once my part's sort of over, I can go in and go like, yeah, why don't we try this and take a risk here? And why don't you move and do this thing? Or why don't you pause? A lot of it is timing, which is full circle back to why I tend to give it to Sami, because Sami's timing is impeccable.
As you put it, he always understands the assignment.
Yeah.
That's quite the curse to put on a character. Makes me miss Danhausen more. But we'll talk AEW.
Well done.
How finally, how certain are we that OG Bloodline is winning at Survivor Series? 90%?
I'm trying to think of what the follow-up would be if not. Do you have anything?
No.
Me either. So it has to be 90%. The only thing that could throw that out of balance is Rock showing up to interfere in all of it. But I still think OG Bloodline wins, and then he shows up and says, "None of you are worthy to lead." I could see that happening. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what the heck is going to happen. It's crazy.
I agree. Yeah, that'll get us to what we're in the 5th inning right now. They say Rock coming back once again, get us to maybe this. We could even be in the 4th right now, Brad. I don't know. I'm going to tune in. It should be great.
My question is simple and direct, and it's very much related to the one that you just asked about Sami and the bloodline, the OG bloodline, which is a hesitant alliance. I think we'll see how all this shakes up with Roman not really wanting Sami to be in there. Randy Orton was pile driven into the hospital this week. Okay. Does Sami Uso get fully embraced back into the bloodline before or after Randy Orton returns from his pile driver injury? I've been thinking about this timeline stuff as stuff at work.
Wow.
For the audience, a bus backed into the solar panels at our work. It took like 6 to 9 months to fix last time it happened. And we had some storm damage on my exterior wall that still has not been fixed. The panels blew off in May. So we were taking polls. What's going to happen first? Do the solar panels get fixed first or my wall get fixed first? And I was thinking about that as I made this question. Did Sami get fully embraced by Roman before Randy comes out of the hospital with a reinvigorated spinal cord to kill Kevin Owens, or after?
By the way, before I forget, shout out to the Marana Tigers football team. Officially,
one ranking, yes.
The regular season 10-0, #1 in the Open. And for those who are in Arizona and don't follow high school football, certainly for those who are out of state aren't familiar, the Open started a few years ago. It takes the 8 best teams in the state for football and puts them in their own separate playoff. Talking about playoff. The Marana Tigers, Brad. This is historic.
Huge. Yeah, it's
won
historic.
every game this season.
What did we miss? Yeah,
I remember when I started at Marana a couple years prior, they hadn't won a game, I heard, or maybe won a game.
We won 1 game or 2 games in 3 years
later,
something like that. Yeah.
So they're taking on Hamilton. It's a school up in Chandler over here. Football powerhouse, been that way for years upon years. So kind of avoid the cliche. David versus Goliath. Even though Marana's #1, I think they're probably the betting underdogs here.
Yeah.
But it's going to be at Marana.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the Tigers' den.
I hope the town shows up.
Let's go. Big time.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely huge.
Congratulations to y'all. As for your question, my friend, I think Sami gets brought back in, hugs all around, all that good stuff before Randy comes back. I think Randy's going to be gone at least for a week, 2. Maybe, presumably, he'll be back for Survivor Series where we'll get him and Kevin Owens again. That would be my guess. I think Sami Uso is officially back in the fold before then. I think so too. The story, it was very predictable, but not in a bad way, right? Like, we've been talking about this happening for a while. We knew it was coming. Like, everybody knew it was coming, but at the same time, it feels like it came together really fast. Like, they probably could have milked it for another month. It just felt like a sprint to get them all back together.
where I just feel like they could have built the contention to make a more satisfying "we're back" moment. Not that this was bad. It was expected. And obviously over the course of the years, plural, that this story culminating the way it is, it's not like it hasn't been earned, but I don't feel like the reunion was earned. I feel like the spot was earned, but I feel like they could have done a better job of building that out a little bit over more time, to really give us that the satisfying payoff of them finally getting back together really should have been at a PLE, not on like a random SmackDown.
Right. And the storyline has set that precedent. I want to say it was the Royal Rumble a year or two ago where Sami, you remember that, where Sami turned on the bloodline and that closed the show, and it was so cathartic that we finally got, I mean, seeing Sami beat up by the bloodline wasn't cathartic, but just seeing him turn on Roman.
Or when Jay saved Sami.
Or when Jay, that's been Money in the Bank. Like that's been the precedent throughout this feud.
Exactly.
Those turning moments have typically closed a lot of the PLEs. It's a great point.
So I don't know why they didn't do it that way. Probably just to get it ready for Survivor Series. I'm sure they have stuff cooking. That was not accidental, that phrase. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Tyler, I did not see what happened here though. Nor did I wish to see what happened. I actually canceled my recordings.
You had to add that last part. You didn't see it, nor did you care to. You had to just throw that. Just in case the audience wasn't sure where you're at with Golden Batch. I got you.
Brutal. Anyway, it's time for a roast from Tyler, and I'm sure we're going to find out all about what went down on the Golden Bachelorette. Cue up the music. Let's go.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
All right, Brad, the seasonal tradition of welcoming the cast back occurred last week. Yes, we saw the inaugural Golden Bachelorette.
4-hour special.
Mental all. This one was only an hour and a half. They've been at 90 minutes now. Blessings indeed. They've been at 90 minutes for several weeks. I think an hour would be even better, but we'll take 90. So Jonathan, one of your favorite contestants, my mom's favorite contestant, very handsome guy, he has a girlfriend now. That was revealed. So he has presumably
good for him.
Good for him. We love that for him. He's presumably taken himself out of the running to be the next Golden Bachelor. That was quite surprising. And Pascal isn't a player. He just crushes a lot. Brad, the season finale is this week. Guy and Chalk are the final two. Really, the mental all was a bunch of nothing. There were not a lot of huge developments. Joan came out and spoke about, kind of where she's at. And there wasn't a lot to report on. We're going to see, of course, more of Joan and then more of Guy and Chalk this week. It is the multi-hour, 2-hour, 3-hour. It's going to be a multi-hour season finale. I am ready for it. Guy and Chalk, final two. However, for the men's tell all, the night's biggest winner and the recipient of my rose is Charles. With Jonathan off the market, Charles could become the next Golden Bachelor. This is a true underdog story. The Miranda Tigers as well, but then also Charles. He's a fan favorite, and I don't remember the last time, if ever, the Batch franchise has had an Asian
Charles, that's right,
male lead. Yeah,
I can remember who it was. Yeah, I really like Charles.
He discovered friendship.
He's so charming.
Yes, he discovered friendship this season. His wife passed away years ago, and so there's been a lot of focus on that with his arc. He discovered kickball and the joys of kickball. I can't think of another Asian male lead, and our fan base, let me know if I'm wrong. Find us at GIPod19. That would be historic. There was a lot left to be desired on how they led Jen's season. Jen Tran felt like they didn't spend a lot of budget money on traveling or on a lot during her season, which I'm still upset about. But if Charles becomes the first Asian male lead, the second ever Golden Bachelor, this could be big business. This could be very good. We shall see. In the meantime, I am still picking Chalk to win, and I am predicting Charles is going to be our next Golden Bachelor. Let's go.
I'm predicting Guy. I have no reason to other than he's still on my list. According to the Arizona Republic, in an August 29th, 2022 article, there has never been an Asian male bachelor. So there you go.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. I really like Charles at the beginning.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll get me to tune back in. Maybe it's the Bachelorette vibes are off and the Bachelor's what I need. I think I need the cattiness backstage, and guys aren't Kathy. Like, I just miss Kathy.
Yeah, and that's what's been...
And Theresa.
Yeah, that's what's been, at least for me, pretty charming about this season is, although we've missed sort of the backstabbing and the rivalries amongst the cast, it really, as best as a Bachelorette produced season can have, it seems like these contestants really like each other. And it makes me think, Brad, I'm granted we're younger than the men on the cast of the Golden Bachelorette by a lot, but it makes me think about how we as men create new friendships as we get older. And I think for these guys, it's evident that it can be hard to do that when you reach a certain age, especially if you stop working or you're retired. How do you build new friendships? And it seems like a lot of these guys have done that this season. So I really love them spotlighting that. The mental all, again, kind of a bunch of nothing, but really reflecting on this season. Although we've missed some of that spice, it's been cool to just see a bunch of grown dudes find seemingly genuine camaraderie with each other and confide in each other. And it's like, oh man, I think that's kind of hard as you grow up. And it's nice to see these dudes actually doing that. And one of them is going to presumably propose to Joan. I'm thinking it's Chalk. You're thinking it's Guy. We will see this Wednesday.
I mean, I just don't want to be wrong. You're probably right here. I have no reason to guess Guy. I just have him on my list.
But they could also be editing it where we think it's going to be Chalk, and they could pull a Swerve-a-Rooney and give us Guy. You could be right, Brad Winchester. I know you're not invested. You just want to be right, but I'm telling you, you have a legitimate 50-50 shot at this thing.
I don't know. I just keep thinking about the show, and if they could change the production a little bit up for me, please, that'd be great. Maybe hire a musician and anything.
This is documented.
Honestly, almost anything would be better than what I got. Like episode 2 made me go, okay, I think I'm good. Like, it reminded me of what I hated about it the first time around.
And they brought Gary back. It's a lot of it's like the Yankees in the World Series. I don't think we ever talked about
being totally unaware of the climate around this dude.
Yeah. You said Sami Zayn understands the assignment. Batch, so often the powers that be there don't seem to understand the assignment. When Gary seemingly has a 0% approval rating amongst the fan base, but y'all just torment us and give him back to us this season, it's like the Yankees in the World Series. Speaking as a Yankee fan, unforced errors. We don't need this. Why are you torturing your fan base?
Yeah.
Unforced errors. I'm not mad at you.
I don't know. Every time I think of Gary, all I can think of is Teresa. He can't even say the name of the woman he married. Okay, Tyler, it's time to hit the AEW questions. I'm excited. A lot happened this week.
That it did. I've been thinking about the question I'm going to ask you. I could have taken one of two directions, but I think you'll like what I ended up with. Okay, let's talk about it. The Outrunners punched their ticket to Full Gear. Full Gear, by the way, is shaping up to be a very exciting card. More on that soon. They punched their ticket. Julia Hart had the best return vignette I've seen. I put in my notes, Brad, in a long time. Maybe this year. I did not expect us to get the cheerleader Julia Hart on a football field.
Robin Hood Jones.
Yeah. And then you pan to the bleachers, and it's Julia Blackheart, and she takes out the bow and arrow. That I said, oh, this is my jam. That was
good stuff.
This is good business. Okay, so that happened. I was going to ask you about that, but I'm just going to mention it here. You're welcome to share your feelings on it. And Ricochet welcomed back Powerhouse Hobbs to the company. I want to ask you about the other two guys from that Dynamite main event, Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita. Now, both have been champions, wrestled on pay-per-views, and raised their stock this year. That being said, which of them has had the better 2024?
Oh, Kyle Fletcher for sure. That's so easy. Easy. Konosuke Takeshita, we've been waiting for him to get a title and become established as a champion. Kyle Fletcher had a coming out party this year to be taken as a credible person. We know he had the championship run with ROH stuff, but like in AEW, Yeah, it was Fletcher, because he was that tag team guy. That's kind of it. He was United Empire tag team with Mark Davis, and that's all he was. And then he was like the young guy, but like all the matches that he lost ended up being bangers. Konosuke Takeshita did a lot of stuff that wasn't, the last month before winning. I think he wasn't even wrestling in the States. He was gone. Just kind of this enforcer. So I'm going to say Fletcher, because Fletcher, like, his stock went way up this year. His character shifted. We got some incredible matches because when Will showed up, he wrestled Fletcher right away, and it was like the friendly competition, and that storyline has grown throughout. It's been awesome, which is what inevitably led to his character change. So I think he's had an incredible year. So is it close? Yeah, probably, maybe. I don't know, because Kyle Fletcher has grown. Konosuke Takeshita has become what we thought he was. And I think that's been the difference.
Your answer surprised me, but I happen to agree with you on this. I just think of even this back half of Kyle Fletcher's year. We saw the match at Grand Slam. He partnered with Ospreay to take on the Bucks. Mm-hmm. Amazing tag team match. We saw him take on MJF in the build to All In London. He's really blossomed as not just a tag team wrestler. Him and Mark Davis, amazing tag team. Hopefully future tag champs if they end up reuniting. But I agree with you, Brad. He's really ascended.
Such a good heel. He's so good.
He's ascended as a single star. He's acquired more tattoos. I'm going to borrow a Winchester term here. He let go of the long boys and now wears the trunks. Mm-hmm. He's got the arm sleeve. I saw side by side on the timeline of him and a young Randy Orton, and it was shocking. It's crazy. Wow. Especially with the haircut now, the buzz cut for Fletcher. It's, oh my gosh, totally different moveset, different arsenal, but same look, same sort of it factor. Yeah. Kyle Fletcher his stock has improved drastically as a singles wrestler this year. To your point, Brad, he held ROH gold, but now Q3 heading into Q4 as a single star in AEW. It's been incredible. I'm rolling with Fletcher, but like you said, we've wanted this platform for Takeshita for a long time. I think he's been great as a heel, and I think he's going to have a really long international title run. So the best is yet to come for both of these guys for sure. However, I agree with you that Fletcher blossoming as a single star, he gets my vote.
Yeah, it's hard to argue either of them. I think that Daniel Garcia is next in line for that championship, for TNT championship.
Speaking of full gear, and I feel like if they're going to do a thing with the Don Callis family trying to collect the gold, that Fletcher going after Garcia would make a lot of sense. I don't want him to win it, but I think it would make a ton of sense to have Fletcher going after Garcia. And we'll see, like, after the Orange Cassidy standing tall on the announce desk as my recording stopped for Collision was something that's sticking out in my mind, going like, man, maybe this really is the time at Full Gear. Maybe this really is the moment we get. I still am not convinced given the history of those two together, but it's going to be fun. I can't wait to find out. But Fletcher definitely fits in that scene. Dude's a monster. He's getting better every week with, his promos in front of a TV camera. That's an American audience, I should say. I think he's found different levels. He's always been kind of, I'm always up here, pro wrestler kind of levels. And he's sort of brought it back down a little bit. He still goes all the way up, but he brings it back down a little bit, which for some reason works so well for him to just feel a little bit more threatening and menacing. And I've really liked what they've done with him and what he's been able to do. I'm a Takeshita guy. I've been a day one Takeshita guy, like that DDT. I didn't know who he was. I can't say day one in AEW. When he came over from DDT, I was like, this guy is going to be a future champ. They need to hire him immediately. It's probably on tape somewhere. And by tape, I mean digital recording, because it's 2024 and not 1987. But I know somewhere the audio exists. Oh, no, definitely. I remember, I think back to the first few times that you saw the Takeshita line where he's running the ropes and just shows insane athleticism for a man his size. And we really, I mean, that's been the continued conversation that we've had in AEW is sometimes we see these new talent who we fall in love with, but then we're not sure, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen as quickly as we want it to?
Yeah.
And we've had to wait quite a bit for Takeshita to finally get the moment. And I think what him and Ricochet have going on is great. I think it's going to very likely be a match of the night at Full Gear. And hopefully this is, again, just the start of a very successful championship reign for him. Both of these guys have really ascended as being faces of AEW. For them to be in the main event of Dynamite and be trusted with these spots, I think it's a great sign. And hopefully it's a very healthy sign for AEW as they've worked to build new stars. It really isn't that the purpose of this Death Riders NWO-esque storyline right now,
right,
is to really build that new generation. So you have that with Daniel Garcia and Private Party, and eventually, when I believe Darby Allin defeats Jon Moxley in the new year for the gold. But then you also have on that same card Takeshita and Fletcher ascending at the same time. And Mariah May is great. I mean, Mercedes been established, but Mariah May is great. Hopefully Anna Jay gets a run at some point in the new year. Julia Hart's coming back. The roster remains impressively talented. It's loaded. Chris Statlander is a favorite of mine, as she is a favorite of yours. I love how on Dynamite, Camille was supposed to run her over in the parking lot. Yeah. She missed, kind of. And then Chris Statlander just obliterates Mercedes and Camille, takes them out of the SUV, slams them, maybe breaks Camille's arm. Like, it's just...
And then gets choked out on Collision.
And then gets choked out by the Moneymaker, I think is what Mercedes is calling it now. That's also another Full Gear match. This card...
I can't wait for that match.
By the time Full Gear is solidified, this could end up being...
Hard not to think it's going to be, dude. I already know where you're going.
The best card...
Steve Austin hands.
Just that's hilarious. Yeah. I gotta do the Steve Austin hands. That was a very good. And you have the black shirt, kind of like Steve Austin does. The nondescript black shirt. This is very good. Continuity. If we can ensure that we get a Mariah May match at Full Gear, please and thank you. Not on 0 Hour, respectfully, on the main card. Full Gear, shaping up to just be everything we hope it's going to.
Maybe it's Julia Hart. Maybe we get a babyface Julia Hart.
What did you think of that vignette, by the way? You've been a day one Julia Hart guy.
Yeah, like day 30, 40. I hated the cheerleader gimmick, but
but you saw potential.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, number one, look at her. Number two, she's very good in the ring. She has everything. She has all the intangible stuff. The only thing she really had to work on is her promo skills, her mic skills, and they put her in a position where she doesn't need them very much. And it's been great. Like, this is the House of Black with, I guess, with Julia Hart and Buddy Matthews, not Brody King as much, and certainly not Malachi Black, are highlighting the strengths of those two, where we can just let their in-ring ability speak for itself, or our presentation speak for itself. Obviously, Julia Hart's very young and still doesn't have like a huge amount of wrestling experience under her belt. But like, think about what she was when she started and what she is now, and it's just night and day. Yeah. Everything she does off the top rope looks so incredible. It's so fluid and beautiful to see. Like, I can't wait to see her back in the ring. It's the same way, though. It's the same way that I felt about Penelope Ford. I think she was criminally underrated.
She was back this week.
Yes, and I thought she's really great in the ring. She is solid on the mic. I don't understand why she wasn't highlighted more before. And maybe that was just a product of the stuff that happened personally but like in her personal life, physically, trying to have kids and whatnot. Maybe that's what was going on. Maybe that was where it was, but not having her be used outside of being, hardcore tag team fodder with the Bunny, and then just having her come out and do heel stuff and disappear and have a match every once in a while, or just get beat up outside the ring. I'm like, it's like, she's a star. She's really good in the ring. She's great on the mic. She's beautiful. And put her on screen, please. All the time, please. And highlight it. So I'm just stoked that she's back. I feel the same way about Julia Hart. I think they both have great looks. They both have really good characters. Although Julia Hart's is more defined. I love her hat. I just can't wait to see the hat back in action.
I love how they focused on that during the vignette. It was so good. And let's not
forget, music is so cool. Like that entrance music is so good.
The presentation, just
all of it just
really enhances the whole Julia Hart package.
I think Mariah May going to Full Gear coming out and saying it's like an open challenge or something, and then that happening would be the move.
Wow.
That's her her re-debut is as at Full Gear.
I love this. And then I want to hear your question. That would be very apropos, given that last year's Full Gear is when she won the championship. Do you remember that three-way?
Right.
Sky
That's
Blue,
right. Yes.
Julia Hart, Chris Statlander.
That's right.
One of my favorite AEW matches of 2023. That would be very, very full circle, Brad Winchester, if Julia Hart comes back.
That could be really cool.
And wins gold again. I like what you're putting down.
Okay, Hobbs is back. Julia Hart's back. Kenny Omega is kind of back in New Japan, getting in an altercation backstage. So he is ever closer to returning. My feeling is if he's doing stuff in New Japan and doing work over there to probably get his body right and whatnot, yeah, we're getting Kenny at Full Gear for sure. They're holding off for him to re-debut or return. We'll see what kind of Kenny Omega comes back. My guess is he's not happy about Jon Moxley doing this to his company. And maybe if it's Mox and Orange Cassidy in the main event and there's tomfoolery happening, if there's shenanigans happening, that Kenny Omega battle cry is playing.
Let's go. If I'm gonna pay $54 and change, I want some Kenny Omega in Jersey.
If battle cry plays and he comes out with Matthew and Nicholas, that's going to be interesting. So we'll see. Maybe they're not heels anymore now that they lost the title and did the handshake and dipped.
Right.
Maybe they come back wearing the spangly pastel young buck colors. Who knows? But I digress. Now, Tyler, between Hobbs and Julia Hart, which one of these two returners do you think holds gold first? This is absolutely a Tyler McDowell question.
This sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I asked that recently. That's a great question. We're big fans of both of these two. Obviously, we just spoke at length about the brilliance of Julia Hart and all she has to do moving forward. Powerhouse.
And I really wanted to interject.
Yeah, please.
When I wrote this, I had to go in the way back. I was like, well, it's kind of unfair because Hobbs has never held gold. And then I remember he did. He had the FTW.
TNT. Yeah, TNT, right?
The
With the Wardlow. The Wardlow
right?
series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which ended
criminally short.
Too soon. Right.
I forgot all about it until right before we went on. But anyway, yeah, he's had a couple of belts.
Yeah, this is tough. Okay. Quick exposition. So Leo Rush apparently is vying to join the Hurt Syndicate. He's facing Swerve Strickland this week. About 24 hours ago, if you would have asked me this, Brad, I would have said Powerhouse Hobbs because my booking would be that Hobbs. I like my Powerhouse Hobbs as a heel. He joins the Hurt Syndicate. Get that man a suit. Find a suit that fits him, and he'll. Could you imagine? Yeah. My dream scenario would be the trios division. How do we get this thing? How do we get this thing back to where we want it to be?
That's
Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and great reaction. Let's make sure we clip that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and Powerhouse Hobbs as trios champs.
Over.
But if Leo joins, are you gonna have 5 people in the Hurt? Okay, I'm gonna answer your question with what I want to see.
Can you freebird trios?
Yes, I think so. Haven't we seen it where I think we've had
the Gun Club?
Yeah, I think we've had that precedent. Right. I don't think it's been firmly.
But they took it away because you can't. Remember?
Yeah, there's been inconsistency
I don't understand.
on how they've done this.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you have 2 promotions running on your AEW shows.
This is true. I just don't see Julia. As much as I love your Full Gear idea of open challenge from Mariah May and it's Julia Hart, I don't see Julia Hart holding gold imminently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Hobbs. But if it's not Hobbs joining the Hurt Syndicate and that possible trios route, which I think would be amazing, what is the other best route for him? Is it TNT as a villain against Daniel Garcia? Is it challenging for the international championship after presumably Ricochet loses at Full Gear? I don't think he's going to be propelled to the world title just yet. I'm going to choose with what I want. I'm going to say it's Hobbs. I hope he joins. I don't need babyface Hobbs. I want him as a bad guy. I want to see him with the Hurt Syndicate, and I want those 3 with MVP in tow to be trios champs.
I want Hobbs in a one piece with gold flames on the side. That's all black. Like,
wow, that's
in the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, he already has the gold. Right. Don't tease us, Tony Khan. Come on.
Like
now.
if he had like the black thing with the like, if he had white and gold flames up the side, because we had the flame thing, it would look so good. And
who's stopping those three?
Him and the Hurt Syndicate wearing a pair of shades in a suit doing the snarl. I'll take 3 of those posters and put them in my room, please.
Listen, I love LRC Jones.
Yes.
I love Leo Rush. Him and Lashley have history. This is a great option.
Of them in there, that'd be fine.
That is the answer here.
But to your point, then what do you do? I think Leo and the Hurt Business would make a lot of sense attitude wise, and I think it would be really fun. Like on the flip side of it, it would be really fun to see Leo and Bobby Lashley tag together. Just a ridiculous juxtaposition of styles. But Hobbs and Leo, like
or even Leo goes for the TNT championship. Let's say.
Yeah,
fights Daniel Garcia. That would be a great mix, a clash of styles, if you will.
Yeah, you could get like the tag championships in there, and maybe they even go after Private Party and be like, join up, so we don't have to take them from you. That would be cool.
Wow,
I would love to see that. Yeah, there's so many different things they could do. I think it would be funny if I want to see I want to see the Outrunners trying to join. I think it would be hilarious. Like,
I'm so glad
it has to be those two. I just think it would be like, that would be television comedy gold. Yes, I think it would be gold. No pun there, but it would just be amazing. I want to see it. I just want to see the interaction because those guys are over the top ridiculous. And then just MVP telling them to go bleep off would be great. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm with you, man. I think it's probably Hobbs. I don't think it's Julia. I also think if Julia does return for that title scene, I don't think she'll open challenge. I would love to see that. I think it'll be like Mariah May has a match unfortunately on the 0 hour. She squashes somebody, or she has like a 10-minute match against somebody. Maybe they get Diamante. Maybe they have Penelope Ford, or so. I don't know who it would be, but let's just say the 10-minute match goes on. It happens. It's over. The lights go out. She shows up and makes it clear she's challenging as babyface Julia Hart. And that's a return. I could totally see that happening. Either way, I just want to see her back in the picture somewhere. And it would be really cool if she was going after the big belt this time. I don't really want to see Julia Hart, Mercedes Moné right now. For whatever reason, that just doesn't appeal to me. But Julia Hart and Mariah May very much appeals to me. And I can't tell you why. I just don't want to see it.
Well said.
Tyler, what did we miss?
I have one item. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is this Friday.
It's crazy. It's already happening, man.
It's already, we got through a delay. It's still here. It's going to be all over our timeline, Brad. This is a really big deal. It's going to be at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. New article up in which I provide my thoughts on the lead up to the fight. I even mention bro votes and its impact on this election and more. Check out gimmickinfringementpod.com. Shout out to my co-host, Brad, for the amazing work you do for all of our imaging. So when you all watch the show every week on YouTube, the sound, the images, everything comes from the mind and the brilliance of one Brad Winchester. Brad, the website is amazing. The work you do here visually and on our audio is fantastic. So check out gimmickinfringementpod.com. You can see all of the pieces that Brad and I have written throughout the years. And we'll see how that fight turns out. Netflix continues to make a splash in the live sports realm. Mm-hmm. And this is certainly their biggest attempt thus far. That's
I mean, I'm going to be tuning in. I appreciate the words. It's been a lot of work trying to get that thing to look the way I wanted to and feel the way that I wanted to, that represents you and I and the network and all of the things that we value. And it's a lot of fun.
We don't pay some outside entity. Pulling back the curtain for our fan base. This is all in-house.
Yes.
This is all coming from Marana, Arizona. The brilliance, the creativity. I just appreciate you.
About half. I would say about half of it You get Tyler. Don't sell yourself short. If you're seeing stuff on social, it's Tyler. If you're seeing an article written recently, it's Tyler. If you're seeing new ideas and communications and all this other stuff, it's Tyler. He's doing stuff for 4AZ. He's doing stuff for GI. He's doing stuff for The Job. Man is busy. It's inspirational. I wanted to piggyback off what you said about the election. I have some numbers for you. We had in 2020, 155,507,476 votes for the Democratic and Republican nominees, 158 million in total, according to the popular vote tracker on cookpolitical.com. In other words, 2,492,524, about 2.5 million voted for other people, not at that time Biden or Trump. We had this time 145,688,136 total so far, of 148 million plus, according to the Associated Press for the 2024, which was about 2.4 million people that voted for other. So in both elections, we had about 2.5, around 2.5 million that voted for people that weren't in the Democratic or Republican parties. That was surprising to me that they were almost the same. President-elect Trump had 74,708,357 votes in 2024 and had 74,223,975 votes in 2020, only about 500,000 votes more this time, despite the margin of victory. I'll skip down. We had this time around, it was 9,819,340 total fewer votes in the election, 10,303,722 fewer votes for the Democratic Party. So almost 10.5 million fewer people showed up to vote Democrat, and 9.8 million people just didn't show up at all compared to the 2020 election. A lot of people didn't vote this time. And I was surprised at the high number of people that didn't vote. To almost 10 million people fewer is a crazy number, and sort of where we are politically right now. I think that sort of captures the feeling of confusion and not sure what to do, and feeling apathetic about the vote this time around, where other people were very convicted in their beliefs. It's just kind of interesting. What else was interesting to me was that there were 2 new trailers this week, Tyler. One of them for Anthony Mackie's Captain America Brave New World with Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross, aka the Red Hulk. And I cannot wait to see this. I'm so excited for it. And the trailer for the Thunderbolts also dropped. Really excited to see all these kind of like TV characters or minor characters from the other TV shows get their shine and get a feature film, kind of spearheaded by one Winter Soldier, James Buchanan, Bucky Barnes. Will be a lot of fun to see. I can't wait to see what that looks like, because it's essentially a Marvel Suicide Squad. So we'll see how it goes. I'm stoked for it. I choose to look at the future of filmmaking as a positive. I don't care if it's a popcorn movie and they're all kind of formulaic. What I do care about is we get that damn Blade movie with Mahershala Ali. Please figure it out, fix it, and get that into my eyeballs immediately.
Lots to think about. Lots to be excited for.
That's the important stuff we should be talking about.
That's the important stuff. Gratitude is important as well. Thank you all for being here. You can follow us at GIPod19 for exclusive show updates and more. We'll see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.